Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends X-Men 2-pack with Rogue and Pyro. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you were following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Today we are taking a look at this Marvel Legends X-Men 2-pack with Rogue and Pyro. Now people refer to this as the modern outfit for Rogue. Well, it's technically the X-Men Legacy uniform that Rogue wears in about 2009, I believe, but she does wear this outfit or similar to it throughout Uncanny X-Men and even into the Avengers run as well. So yes, this is definitely a more modernized Rogue uniform. This is definitely a classic looking Pyro, however, and I'm very happy to be adding that to the display. We've needed an updated Hasbro Pyro for a while, and I like how they both come with interchangeable heads with a bit more evil look on both of them, and I'll look at them as well. Rogue gets some interchangeable hands and Pyro does get some flame effects, even though we may have an alternative for that, which we'll get into. So yes, looking forward to opening this one. On the side of the box we get the character images, but again they are the same on the back, and once again loving the graphic design for these boxes. Really nice, no wave association, no bio or anything like that, just a picture of Pyro and Rogue, and they look great. So looking forward to opening this one up. So let's do it. Here we have Rogue and Pyro out of the packaging, and as you can see now, their accessories are a little bit lackluster. They both do come with an interchangeable head though, and if we're only going to get a few accessories, I'm glad that we have that display option. Rogue does come with some interchangeable hands, just the standard female Marvel Legends hands we see all the time, and Pyro comes with these flame effects that we've seen before on characters like Iron Fist. Now, it doesn't 100% make sense for Pyro to have these. I'll explain why in a minute, but they do the trick, I guess. But we'll take a look at Pyro second, because first I want to take a look at Rogue. Taking a closer look at Rogue, people have been waiting for this particular green outfit design for a long time. Hasbro did tease it a while ago in a prototype that was in packaging but never made it to retail. Well, let's just say the chest was showing a little bit more. But this design here, with the X on the front and on the side, is a lot more accurate to the first appearance of this costume design from X-Men Legacy Annual number 1, I believe, in 2009. So you can't fault Hasbro, to be fair. This is very accurate to the design it's meant to be portraying. Again, that X is on the bout there with the whites and the greens, and then she's got this big white scarf. So yeah, it's nice. It looks very good, and Rogue looks nice and pretty as well. She got a ponytail. You got the grey at the front of the hair, and yeah, it looks good. No complaints from me at all. Down to the green leggings and these green boots. It is a very accurate portrayal of this modernized Rogue design. Not my favorite Rogue, but as I said, this has been used in the comics for a long time now, at least I think to modern day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, looks very nice. So standard female articulation as you would expect, but pinless technology in play. So only single jointed elbows, which is always the case with Marvel Legends females, and no pins of course, but moving down to the knees you can see no pins again, and there's double joint. So bravo, really like what they're doing. It does make for a nice cleaner looking figure, like just on the shelf, on the display. Definitely looks very, very nice. No faults at all, and the legs feel nice and sturdy, so she can stand no problem at all. But let's just take a closer look at the head, because we do have two. So here's the more smiley one. She looks quite happy there, no complaints. As I said, she's got the ponytail. No articulation in the ponytail, but it doesn't hinder the articulation too much. You can look up and bury the chin a little bit as well. With that scarf, it's a separate piece. You can take that off, but then she might look like she's got a bit of a long neck. It does sort of come up and reveal skin tone underneath. But yeah, so this is the simple standard head, but she does also come with more angry head, shall we say. So obviously her teeth are gritted, she's got the eyebrows raised, bit more emotion in her face this time, and the fringe is sculpted a little bit different, like it's in motion a little bit, like she's getting ready to attack or something. Ponytail stays the same, but yeah, definitely a contrast to the other head. So if you're going to give it two heads, I like how they're completely different, so I do appreciate that. I do prefer the smiling one though, but this one probably better for your in-action poses. So yes, not looking bad at all. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and as I said, she comes with fisted hands, fine, look great. She also comes with these more expressive female Marvel Legends hands that we see all the time, but they work for Rogue. Now, during this time in the comic, she was in more control of her powers. That's why she has a little bit of skin tone showing there on the sleeve, and this is actually a green glove. So that's the reason we didn't get an interchangeable skin toned hand. It's because this is a whole glove. So if you were going to give us the hand, you'd have to give us an interchangeable arm. So I'm not mad at Hasbro for that. So a fisted hand and these effects are fine with me. So here we have our straight up Rogue comparison, the more modernised Rogue, and then we have our Jim Lee style Rogue here. So the Jim Lee style Rogue will always beat my mind's eye version of Rogue, so it's no beating this in my eyes. They look like two different characters, to be honest. If you weren't a big fan of the X-Men and you didn't know, then you probably would think these are two different characters, but they just have similar hairstyles, I guess, with the grey at the front. But no, they are both, in fact, the exact same character. They are both Rogue, just from two different eras in Marvel, if you will. So yeah, which is your favourite? I'm curious to know, the Jim Lee or the more modern style Legacy version. So let me know in the comments, who's your favourite Rogue, Jim Lee or Legacy? Here we have Rogue compared to the most recent Storm, and these two work really well together. Not only are they both pinless female Marvel Legends, both of these characters were wearing these designs in the comics during the Legacy era. So you can display these two next to each other and it would make sense. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I do think Storm was wearing this version of her uniform the same time Rogue was wearing this all green version. So I do think these two will go together nicely. And just because I've got them all out next to me, here we have Storm and Rogue from the Legacy era of X-Men, and then we have Storm and Rogue from the 90s Jim Lee style. Again, which is your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. And then here we have Rogue compared to Gambit, and Gambit doesn't really change his look too much throughout comics, so I do think these two will go together on the shelf as well. And yeah, they look great. She scales perfectly for Gambit, I think. Moving on to Pyro, I can't help but just really like this figure. Let me show you what I mean. So like, I'll zoom out a little bit and you can see with the oranges, the reds and the yellows, he's going to really stand out on your shelf. And he's so flamboyant for such a villain. But yes, this is what it's all about. So on the back, he has a flamethrower with these pipes that connect to the wrists. And that's because his powers, he can manipulate fire. He can't manifest it. So he needs to create the fire first. So these flamethrowers will create the fire and then he can manipulate it with his powers. That is why he's got this big backpack on. And this is a separate piece that's sort of glued to the back. And under there, you can see it's the Sunfire body. So you've got those nice, deep butterfly joints. So you can get him in some really nice poses. So yeah, that harness doesn't hinder the articulation as much as I thought it would. The head sculpt's really nice, and I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, and the rest of the body, really nice. Yellow, really bright yellow and red as well. Really good paint job. The paint seems quite clean as well, where all the colour matches meets each other. There's a little bit of yellow under the orange, which shows that the arms were moulded in yellow probably and then painted orange. But it works out okay. It looks all right. There's no detail on the sort of backpack or the cables. Maybe some dark wash would have done good there to show off some of the sculpted work they've got. But it's not a big deal because you're going to have him facing the front anyway on your display. Now, you'll see that he has holes in the flamethrower parts, and we're going to try and take advantage of them in a minute because he doesn't come with anything for them. He just comes with some flame effects. So let me swap on the heads and then I'll show you the flame effects. So here's the first head. I like the big red beady eyes with that sinister sort of grin, and then his hair sticking out over his mask. And the hair's nicely sculpted with some nice paint work in there as well to show off the design. So yeah, no complaints with this head. And he also comes with this more sinister, evil grin, this time showing off his teeth and a bit more expression in this. So yeah, really liking those display options. You sort of get a little bit evil plotting and then really evil scheming. So yeah, both really nice. No wrong choice there when it comes to the head sculpt. But let's talk about the flamethrower. So we don't get no interchangeable hands, we just get these fisted hands. And that is because his effect pieces are the same that we get with Iron Fist. And these are those translucent fiery pieces that sort of fit over the wrist. So in this regard, we're meant to sit them over the wrist here and pretend that the flamethrowers just created these fists of fire, if you will. However, if that was the case, he'd be burning his hand, I guess, because he can't like manifest fire. As I said, he can just manipulate it. So let me put both of these on and we'll have a look what he looks like. So it sort of works. If you know this character's Pyro and you've got him displayed like this on the shelf, no one's going to be mad at you because it's fire, it's Pyro, we get it. Like, so no one's going to be mad at you for displaying your Pyro in some sort of form like this. However, our best option would be to get the flamethrowers to actually be having fire come out of them. And that is where this comes into play. I brought this off Amazon. So I don't collect Star Wars this scale, and these are like some Force Link toys with Boba Fett and Han Solo. But I want to steal the flamethrower effects that came with this Boba Fett to use with my pyro. So this cost me about £8 from Amazon. So I've essentially paid an extra £8 to get pyro some accessories. But I'm hoping these work. So I'm going to open this up and see what we can do. Pow! And there you go. I've actually got flamethrowers that work. So yeah, thanks to that Star Wars toy. Again, I've seen many people do that online. It is not my idea. I've stole it from the internet. But yeah, it looks great. So these little flamethrower effects, little fiery translucent pieces with a peg, and the peg actually fits into the hole. So if I can zoom in and show you, let it focus, you can see the hole there on the flamethrower, and you just plug it in, and now you've got a flamethrower that actually works. Perfect. And I should show you as well that these are not glued to the wrist, so you can like spin them around, manipulate them however you want. If you popped out the wrist, you can see that like, these just slide off, so you don't even have to have them attached at all if you wanted to. So it is like a loose separate, it's not even focusing, there you go, a loose separate piece that you attach onto the wrist. But yes, looks so much better. And I should mention as well that if you go a bit crazy with the articulation, these will pop out of the backpack, so be careful with that. They will go back in there, and they do sit in there snugly, but you might want to glue them in if you have no interest in them falling off. But yeah, once again, can I just say, I love this pyro. It looks so much better now with actual flamethrower effects. Very happy. So Pyro, obviously most famously an enemy of the X-Men with the evil Brotherhood of Mutants. So here we have Mystique. Hopefully we get a Toad soon, because for some reason I think Pyro and then my mind thinks Toad. So maybe we get Toad in that Bring on the Bad Guys wave in 2021. And here we have Pyro compared to Hellfire Hank. How you doing, mate? So, final thoughts, I really like this 2-pack. Yes, it's a little bit lackluster with the accessories, and I shouldn't have to make my own upgrades, as Hasbro should have really packed in something for those flamethrowers. However, I've made my own little mod, and it looks so much better. That looks like such a fun action figure to have amongst your villains, so I'm very happy to have Pyro. Now, that may not be my favourite rendition of Rogue, but I cannot deny that is a great action figure with the pinless technology. It's a nice design for Rogue that I will definitely find a place for on my X-Men display somewhere. As X-Men, let's be honest, they have tons of different outfits and costumes, so I like having little teams plotted all over the place on my display. So no complaints from me. I genuinely really like both of these figures. I just wish they come with a little bit more in regards to accessories for the price point. But honestly, if you're a fan of Rogue, if you're a fan of Pyro, these two are great. Definitely the best Pyro we've ever got. It definitely outshines the previous one, and that Rogue in that uniform is probably the best rendition of that one as well. And again, don't be too mad that she hasn't got the open chest. This version, I promise you, is the more accurate version of Rogue in that Legacy uniform. But you let me know what you think in the comments below. As always more important what you think than I am just a random guy chatting nonsense on YouTube. But if you want to support the YouTube, you can do that by going to the videos tab. But most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. If you are in a position to support the channel a little bit more, you can on Patreon. Links in the description below. But until next time, people, as always, I'll see you on the next one.